What? No,
Your hat has an ass. Your ass has a hat.
For sure, maybe.
For sure not.
For sure maybe, for sure not.
For sure at, for sure bomb.
Don't get the stoplight, the drugs on the dashboard.
You're healthy.
Yeah.
You're healthy.
Have I told you lately
That I
love you?
Hey,
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 ho, hey.
ho.
Well, welcome back. This is episode 7 this week.
And we're going to talk about...
Mothers. It's Mother's Day.
I was going to do a drum roll, but you ruined it.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God, you want to talk about mothers? Oh, you want to talk about mothers?
But what we are going to talk about is...
Racism!
What a terrible thing.
But we do have a little surprise for you today. But before we get to that, I said it this week.
Play the intro. I almost forgot. 1, 2.
Hit that track.
If someone, like, I'm a little right? But like if someone was coming at me, I think I could handle my own.
You might have aggression that day, let it go, and try to understand somebody else's world of their point of view. I mean like them, you, me, us.
Okay. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed the intro as you always should because it's quality.
We have something to tell you. We're expecting a child. Just kidding. We have a special guest.
Oh, let's not even joke about that. You've met her before, you know her, you'll love her.
We're your haters.
Let's bring her on, Nicole!
Yay!
Welcome!
Yeah,
situated. Alright, well, welcome back to the Brutally Honest podcast.
Thank you. What's changed in your life?
Yeah, anything new? I know.
Nothing.
Absolutely not.
We're talking about racism this week, as you heard, because you were 2 feet away. But I'm pretty sure we all have pretty strong opinions on the racism epidemic that's going on in this fucking world.
Recently, actually, I had posted on my Snapchat story, someone was driving in front of me. It had a Confederate flag on the back of their car, like a little sticker. To me, that's racist as fuck because it stood for slavery, racism, and the Confederate States. You know, they had, I believe, 13 flags. Don't quote me. That's the most well-known one. It was called the Cross of the South. Mm-hmm. A lot of people got really mad at me for not liking the Confederate flag.
You lost the war. Like, it wasn't like you guys were triumphant.
And you were traitors to the country if we're really talking about
Yeah. They take it upon themselves to call it, I think it's like their Southern pride.
Southern heritage is like a really, really,
Southern heritage is like iced tea and like like thick accents. I wouldn't say that slavery is a part of the number one things that you should be proud of.
Like it was part of. There's like it's because like states' rights is like a big thing, but it's like honestly, it's just that you wanted to be.
They don't think that they're being racist. Racists don't think that they're being racist or hateful.
Yeah.
The same as bigots. Like they don't understand. They think that their opinion is correct, and then they're like, "Well, I'm not a racist." It's like, well, you don't like colored people.
That's because the racism in this country is systematic. So we don't even like. I feel like everyone is like has little microaggressions. Like even I'm saying like me, I have like just because how we were raised, the school systems that we're in, and like TV and stuff like that. Like I have microaggressions that I'm kind of racist, and I'm like I work better. Like I'm trying to like educate myself and better myself, but it's like little things that you don't even realize that you're just programmed to do.
It's okay to be like, that was a racist thought. I have to push that away because we have been ingrained to think a certain way. I think that a lot of people, this is brutally honest, I think that a lot of people, they think that like, well, I'm not racist. Like, it's like, okay, but I was raised with racist tendencies. Like I have like
my whole family
comments that,
like,
comments that, your family has made that they don't even realize is racist. Like you don't understand how much it's being forced on you. You have to get to that point. Like it's like reconditioning yourself to think differently.
And I also think it's important that we are discussing this from a white perspective. So it's like we are only speaking from our experiences, and it's not okay for us.
We haven't experienced, I've never experienced that kind of racial inequality. Yeah. Like I have benefited from the system. I am a white male. I may be gay, and that has changed my life in other aspects, and I've had to overcome in other aspects of that. But as for racial inequality, I've never dealt with it, but I can see the videos where they're intimidated by these cops, or that they're in a car and they just maybe ran a stoplight, or just driving while black.
A store, getting followed around.
Yeah, just because they think that you're going to steal because of the color of your skin.
The first girl to integrate schools, she's 66 years old. My grandmother is older. And all the people that were cheering for this little girl to get murdered because she was integrating schools are still alive, or raised the people that are still alive.
How could you say that it was, slavery was not that long ago? That's like...
The foundation of our country, so like what this country is built on, is racism and genocide of the Native American people and then black people.
But yet 9/11, we have to continue to
never forget.
Yeah, never forget 9/11. How about the slavery that people had to endure? Right. American history, and how it really was written by the victor. We have pillaged, we have raped, we have conquered and taken. We are Columbus Day.
Today is Columbus Day.
Perfect day to be talking about this.
It's not Columbus Day, it's Indigenous Peoples Day.
Yes.
I remember like in elementary school, like us celebrating Christopher Columbus as a hero, like as someone who discovered the country. And then like you really get older and you realize you're like, wow, this man was a child rapist.
Raped, pillaged, fucking killed, gave smallpox.
So I took a Native American history course when I was at Niagara Community College, and we read Christopher Columbus's diary like as part of our assignments. This man,
I wouldn't want to do that.
No, he was so incompetent, and the Native people were like the indigenous people were so nice to this man, and literally are the only reason he got accomplished anything. They were so like giving and kind to this man, and he literally just robbed them and killed them and fucking stole their kids.
To be conquered is not assimilation.
This is the foundation of America.
Whoever said like, oh, he discovered America. No.
There are thousands of people.
There was people already here. They could have been in a totally different position in life. They could have been advanced as fuck.
They sustained life on like North America for literally thousands of years.
Yes. They were savages before we got here. Excuse me?
They were living their best lives. They had a culture, they had complicated language, they had sports, like they were doing the
They were doing what we were doing, but
also he didn't discover shit. It was already discovered.
And he got
There's already people here. Yeah, and he thought he was in the West Indies.
And ended up somewhere else.
Fucking idiot. Mm-hmm. Also, something I want to say is reverse racism to white people is not real.
Mm-mm. That's ego.
I don't think that you can be racist towards a white person.
Definition of racism is...
It has to do with power structure.
Yeah.
So it's like the oppressor cannot be oppressed.
Mm-hmm.
Like the white people in this country are the oppressor, so they cannot be oppressed. So like if a person of color has a bias against white people because of the influences that they've had in their life and the shit they've seen and how they've been treated, that's not racism, that's just bias.
Yes.
Wouldn't you?
It really isn't hard to take, responsibility and just be like, because I am sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
People had to endure that their families were told of stories of dealing with being property to somebody else. Everything is run, so black people have disadvantages no matter what.
Yeah.
Whether it comes to schooling, whether we don't want to put any after school education or programming or
neighborhoods.
Like neighborhoods.
Yeah, racism runs into classism. So white people got a head start in this country, by hundreds of years. Mm-hmm. So then that's how this country is. It's classist. So it's like if you're poor, you're fucked. And unfortunately, there's very little class mobility. So it's like people of color tend to be poor. Mm-hmm. Tend to get the less funded schools, tend to get the less funded, education.
And it's because guess who's running the country? White, straight men who have never had to deal with any inequality, or it's all been power and money, and they get what they want because daddy's passed it down to them, and they get to, continue to use their nepotism privilege. And you know what I'm saying, and their privilege to get where they want.
It's just people how can anybody be against Black Lives Matter?
I know.
It's a statement that Black Lives Matter, and you're like,
oh, but all lives matter.
Don't fucking say that shit.
Yes, obviously all lives matter, but right now we're focusing on Black lives. We are all human.
People.
We literally all have the same parts. Like, your skin color just so happens to be different. And quite frankly, I don't really understand why that matters, because African culture is beautiful, and
oh my God.
I hate the colorblind people say that. Well, I don't see color.
It's like
it's important that you recognize
that's the problem.
Color.
Yes, you need to. Yes, it's okay that you see that they have a different skin color than you. It's obvious. Yes, it's to the eye. They have a different skin. They look different than you.
And they should be proud of that.
Yeah, why do we need to get rid of all of that rich culture that they've had, and why? Because we want to appropriate it.
It's supposed to be a melting pot for a reason.
If you get checked and just do better instead of like putting your pride up and getting an ego about it.
People, obviously being in the service industry, people have like seen people of color come in and sit in their section, and they're always like, oh, I'm not gonna get a good tip off that. Run me around in circles and not give me shit. Like, that is so fucked up. Why are you thinking that way? You can't judge literally this whole thing is you can't judge somebody by how they look.
No.
Before they even, like, when they walk in the door, I hope I don't get that table. I hope I don't get them. You're fucked.
That's the thing. There's like the little microaggressions that like people don't even recognize as problematic, and so you like have to point out and be like, what you're saying is fucked up. I need you to take a step back and realize what the fuck you said. Like, the most important thing as a white person, is to just listen to people and listen to their stories and like appreciate what they're having to say and listen to their experiences and learn from it.
You feel like a better person when you listen to somebody else's plight and you try to understand it. It almost has a feeling of your mind's opened wider. Okay, thank you for explaining it to me. It's like there's nothing wrong. Take it and be like, okay, well, I'm gonna try to do better. Learn and grow, because that's what we're here for. We're here to learn things and grow. If anything in my life makes any sense, it's at least to learn new lessons and grow from those experiences.
Oh, yeah.
Like right now, obviously, it's so prevalent because of the Black Lives Matter movement and people speaking out about the Black Lives Matter movement. And there, obviously, people like us are all for it and support it 100%.
I think we need to do more also.
Yes.
Agree.
Yes.
Agree.
I think we need to dismantle the power structure in this country.
Yeah, we do. Tearing apart the establishment board by board.
Hurry! I will dismantle this oppressive establishment board by board.
Vote.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Vote.
Please vote.
Vote. Like, that's the least you can do, if anything.
When you saw the Black Lives Matter movement, what were you seeing, like, in the news and stuff like that? Like, what was, like, really...
Protests that turned into riots, and they wanted to focus on the riots, even though the riots weren't, like, the prevailing winds in that situation. It was more protest consistently, but you wanted to focus on the damage being done. Even though in this country where we value product and service and money over human lives, how are you gonna get more upset that that's not a fucking burning shit down and breaking fucking corporate buildings and businesses? I don't support local businesses being destroyed, but
True.
We focus so much on commodity. It's a commodity society, so we focus on product and money. So obviously you hit them where it hurts, which is product and money. So if you're gonna fucking break shit, break your shit. And people like to act like civil disobedience and everything, like Martin Luther King murdered. But motherfucker, there was race riots every fucking day.
Yeah.
1960s.
Well, that's because they paint that picture of, all of a sudden Martin Luther King came along and racism was over.
Right, whitewashed history, even though fucking white people threw a goddamn fit and threatened a child who was integrating schools with death. This is what I'm saying. You have to be cognizant. You have to be aware. A commodity-focused society, for them to hit them where it hurts, which is the money and the fucking product and storefronts. I think that was a solid form of protest.
Let's just go back to Britain and the Tea Party and stuff like that.
Yeah. Every positive social movement in this country
has been turned into a bad one.
It has violence associated with it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that violence is the answer, but people act like that, like violence is condemning the movement, like but it's like people get so frustrated because they try to go through channels positively, like changing laws, changing this, changing that, changing policy. When you're frustrated and you're watching your loved ones get shot and killed every day and nothing changed, you're going to get violent, you're going to get upset, because it's falling on deaf ears unless you make that radical protest. People are just so uncomfortable with the idea of change, and that's such a privileged standpoint. Like, it's not directly affecting them. They're okay with where they're at and they're comfortable with where they're at, because they're not, like you say, they're not watching their loved ones.
Yeah, they don't have to deal with it.
They're not teaching their 12-year-old sons not to play with toy guns because they think they might get shot by the police. Or run down the street with a gun. He's fine. But Timmy Rice was 12 years old and got shot by a fucking police officer.
And why? Because of profiling.
So you're sitting in a position of privilege where you don't have to worry about that. So this is making you uncomfortable because you might have to change the way you're viewing things in your world. So it's uncomfortable and you're like, I don't want to do it. But
guess what? Life has changed. What do I say every podcast? Change is always going to happen. It's inevitable. Life has been changing for centuries. Life changes. Nothing has ever stayed the same. And your mindset that everything has been the same since you're a child, or nothing's like when I was a kid. Right. And before that, things weren't like that before either. So every generation has said that because things change.
Obviously, with us talking about
racism.
Black Lives Matter, and racism, a part 2 to this is going to be police brutality. So,
and Nicole's going to be with us for that episode too. So stick around because it'll be coming shortly.
And we're not going to move from this spot.
No, this has been Brutally Honest this week. Remember to what, Katie?
Like, share, subscribe, comment about how cute we are.
Yeah, and like, let us know if you want us to talk about a topic.
Discussion, yeah,
keep it just what is your opinion? Let us know. Like, our opinion obviously isn't the only one that matters. It's the only one I listen to, but absolutely, I want to hear what you have to say.
But keep that racist shit off our page.
True.
Bye, guys.
We don't support bigotry here. Okay, bye.
Bye.